Hello everyone, today for this book talk I will be discussing the book Why Mosquitoes Buzz in People's Ears. This book was written by Berna Ardema and it was illustrated by Diane and Leo Dillon. This book also won a Caldecott Award for its beautiful illustrations, which I do not have on the cover here just because of the book that I was able to get. But if we flip our book open to the title page, here we have it. We have the beautiful illustrations that won their award, rightly so, justly so. So this book tells the story about why mosquitoes ended up buzzing in the ears of humans. It starts off with the mosquito going to meet his friend Iguana, and he tells him such a tall tale that the iguana decides, I'd rather have sticks in my ears and not hear anything for the rest of the day than to listen to this little buzzy, chatty mosquito buzz in my ear all day. So that's exactly what he does. He puts sticks in his ears. He goes about his day. He runs into a friend, but he doesn't see him. He doesn't hear him. And that friend felt hurt. That friend decides to slither off. It was a snake. Decides to slither off, and through a chain of events, something terrible happens in the jungle, and the king of the jungle, the lion, has to come out and figure out, okay, why did this happen? How did this happen? Who's to blame? Because there has to be a reason that this great catastrophe happened. Like, how could we have avoided it? So they go back through the story and they go to each animal that was in this chain of events that unfolded, and they ended up back to the beginning with the mosquito buzzing in the iguana's ears. So now the mosquito knows that everyone in the jungle is like angry with him. So this book kind of explains why he now has to talk to us humans instead of the animals in the jungle, because they're a little bit mad at him, just a little bit. But this wonderful book was written by Berna Ardema, and she was from Michigan. She's a Michigan State graduate. She graduated with a journalism degree, and she worked as a grade school teacher for 40 years. As well as being a teacher, she was a mom. She was a mom of a lovely little girl who would not eat anything. Such a silly story. She would not eat, she would not sleep until she got her daily story. So our author was very intrigued by the storytelling aspect of African cultures and cultures around the world. So she decided to take those cultures, folk tales and stories about how things happen, how things work, and she adapted them into picture books. And she shared them with the world because we may not be exposed to that type of culture here in America, and she was able to bring that in a very simple and beautiful way. Her books are usually a range from different cultures. She has some African tales. She also has some tales from Mexico and even some from China. She goes around and she loves hearing all of these wonderful tales. But from this book specifically, there are two areas in this book that I really love and would really love to talk on when I read them aloud. So this is right after the iguana puts sticks in his ears and he runs into his friend, the snake. Iguana was still grumbling to himself when he happened to pass by a python. The big snake raised his head and said, "Good morning, Iguana." The iguana did not answer, but lumbered on, bobbing his head. Ba-dum, ba-dum. "Now why won't he speak to me?" said the python to himself. "Iguana must be angry about something. I'm afraid he's plotting some mischief against me." He began to look for somewhere to hide. The first likely place he found was a rabbit hole, and he went in. Washoo, washoo, washoo. When the rabbit saw the big snake coming into her burrow, she was terrified. She scurried out through her back way and bounded quick, quick, quick across a clearing. Now, I love this section of the book because of its connectivity between the pages, which is probably why I won a Caldecott, on how this is the first half of the passage that I just read, and it smoothly transitions into the second half of the passage that I just read. I also love the snake character and how human he is in his reaction to his friend not saying hi back to him. Now, this is a reaction that you can find in second grade as well as in college and in adult life. If you say hi to your friend and they don't say hi to you and you don't immediately see a reason why, then you feel a little hurt that, like, what did I do? Why didn't I, get a chance to say hi to you? So this was a very human reaction by him. And I would love to delve into that a little bit more with either my younger ones or with my older ones. When I talk about my content later, I'll explain more. The next passage that I really love, other than like the beautiful art that we see throughout this entire book, but another passage that I really love was just right at the end, and it's the mosquito. It's his ending. So if you don't want spoilers, just skip ahead. But we have the mosquito at the end of all of this, all the huff and puff over who did what and why. We have the mosquito here listening in from a nearby tree, trying to figure out what they're talking about and if she's in trouble. Meanwhile, the mosquito had listened to it all from a nearby bush. She crept under a curly leaf, and was never found and brought before the council. But because of this, the mosquito had a guilty conscience. To this day, she goes around whining in people's ears, "Is everybody still angry at me?" When she does that, she gets an honest answer. And I love this part because this is where I would pause and I would ask the kids to close their eyes and imagine if the little mosquito came right up to their ears and started buzzing and asking them questions. How would they react? What would they say? Would they be nice to the mosquito? Would they be angry with the mosquito? And the book gives us the human's answer. Poor mosquito. But we all make mistakes, right? So this book is very lovely, and this book is usually for the younger age group. So I would say like maybe second grade, because there are a few moving parts in here. There are a lot of characters and there's a sequence of events. But I can definitely see myself using this even as a intro to a lesson in middle school for history, because there's an event like this that happened in our history, and it happened in World War One. World War One started with an assassination of an archduke somewhere in the Middle East. It had nothing to do with anybody else in the jungle, anyone else in America, anyone else in the world. But slowly but surely, people started to get brought into it because of how this person reacted with this person, then everybody else reacted. And the ripple effects that we see come from it brings everybody into the jungle, from the jungle, everybody in the world into it, into this all-out frustration and just a big old mess. And it all happened because of one thing that had nothing to do with anybody else. But it was that one thing that caused this major ripple effect. So we can talk about the ripple effects and how things could have been avoided, who escalated it, and who didn't have a part in it, who could have had a part in it, and all of these lovely things. And as a Christian, this book is a great discussion on emotions, especially the snake. That's why I read that passage, because his reaction was the only emotional reaction that wasn't like brought on by like fear or frustration. And it was brought on by, fear as in like fear for their life. Like the rabbit ran away because it saw the snake. But the snake was just hurt. It was just sad. But sometimes things aren't as they seem. So to have good Christian character would not be to just like blow off a friend just because they didn't say hi to you. This could be a great character lesson of like solving problems before they become bigger, or not over exaggerating an issue that you don't know the full picture of. So this is a lovely book, and I enjoy reading it so very much. It is well deserved of its Caldecott award. It is a beautiful book that I will eventually read to my children in my classroom, no matter what age group I end up being in. Thank you for listening, and I hope you get a chance to enjoy reading this book as well. And if you've read it before, enjoy it again. It's always a good read. Have a good day. Thank you.